Borua Boye. You know, there's a great proverb that comes from the sacred text of Ifa that says, "The youth feel, but they do not understand." And this was a part of a message that was given to Orunmila when he had a real big problem with a couple of his siblings. It was Ogun and Osanyi. And they were jealous of Orunmila basically because Orunmila was wildly successful at this time. And they worked hard, Ogun and Osanyi that is. But it just didn't allow them to surpass Orunmila's greatness. And so they hatched a plan that they were going to undo Orunmila. And it started to have effect. But fortunately for him, Orunmila went to consult Ifa. And the Babalawo told him, the youth feel but they don't understand. And so Orunmila went and he made a sacrifice. And as part of the sacrifice, he had to have what we call akwese. Akwese is an appeasement. Typically, people talk about this as appeasement of the elders of the night. But it's also appeasing of the mouths of the Omoaraye, the people of the world. You bring together all your friends, you bring together all your associates, your family members, and you feed everybody. So Orunmila had food on top of food on top of food. And even more than food, he had alcohol. So people ate and they drank. The drums started to sing and then they were dancing all over the place. At the height of the excitement, bang, Ogun gets possessed. He walks right up to Orunmila and he says, Orunmila, I've been, conspiring against you, and this is what I did, and this is what I did, and this is what I did, and this is how you can undo it. Not only that, Orunmila, this is the way that you can even use my own mysteries to your benefit. And he told Orunmila what to do so that he could make better use of Ogun's mysteries. Passed out, boom. Shortly thereafter, Osanyi comes. And we hear Ogun, yeah. Osanyi comes in. And then, same thing, he gets possessed and he starts telling Orunmila everything that he did. He told Orunmila everything that he could do to undo it. He told Orunmila all of the ways that he could make better use of his mysteries. And boom, Osanyi passed out. When they came to, they were looking around. They said, what happened? What did I say? And Orunmila just said, all you did was tell the truth. Thank you. I'm glad that you were at the party. All is well. Boom. Of course, Orunmila went. He undid everything that they had, done against him. And he exploited the information that they gave to him about how to make better use of their own mysteries. And so this is why Ifa says that the youth feel, but they don't understand. Okay? This is the School of Orisha Studies, and I'm your instructor, Obafemi Origunwa. Today's lesson is on taming your intuition. You have to tame your intuition. Okay? Now this runs counter to what people are increasingly comfortable with. When I look online, I see a lot of conversations where people are just totally enamored of their intuition. They trust their intuition more than they trust any priest. They trust their intuition more than they trust any sacred text. They trust their intuition more than they trust any tradition. It's all about my intuition, and it's admirable. I think it's very good to be that confident in your intuition. And I think it matches the sentiment and the energy of this era. I think this era is largely characterized by a heightened collective consciousness, right? There's a growing consciousness, a growing spiritual consciousness that's just, coming to the surface in this particular era. So I think people are responding to that, and it's very good. But an intensified collective consciousness has to be matched with an equally clear personal awareness. Consciousness is one thing. Awareness is something different. Awareness requires clarity. It requires focus. Okay, you've got to be aware you got to be clear in order to make good use of your awareness, to point your awareness, So I want to pose a simple question to you, which is, the intuition is great, but who does the intuition serve? What does the intuition serve? Who is the Lord and Master of your intuition? That is, when your intuition spikes up and it starts giving you all this, stimulus, right? You're feeling different things and you're all, You're on. To whom is the intuition beholden? Who is the intuition reporting to? For what purpose is the intuition awakening you and directing you this way or that way? Who or what? It's very important. Now, people will naturally say, well, my intuition serves me. Well, who are you? The primordial question. Who are you? I can tell you who you are not. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are not your sensations. You are not your actions. You are not your habits. You are not. Okay? You are the one who chooses your thoughts and chooses your feelings and chooses your sensations and chooses your actions and chooses your habits. That's the real you, the chooser. Okay? So, your intuition serves the real you, who is the chooser. Okay? But that's exactly why you must train your intuition. You must train the intuition. You can't just let the intuition send you anything and you respond to it. It's not always accurate. Especially if you as the chooser is unclear. You don't know what you're choosing and why you're choosing it. You're subject to all kinds of manipulation. I'm going to give you a simple example. There is in social media, everybody's aware of the fact that you can say certain things or you can search certain things online and then it will show up on your news feed on Instagram or on Facebook and on other places, even in your Google search, right? So that is a reflection where they've created these algorithms, that they call it, but they are matching or mimicking your thought process. The algorithms that serve you up different images and advertisements are matching or mimicking, they're copying your own thought process. So as you think certain things, you say certain things. As certain things cross your, the threshold of consciousness, you are attracted to certain things out in the world. Okay? So in the exact same way that you can't trust everything that shows up on your newsfeed, every advertisement is not for you to buy, right? Every video that they show you, that isn't something that you necessarily want to see. I looked that up one time, it crossed my mind, and that isn't what I want to see every day, right? In the exact same way that, you can't just go with everything that they show you on your newsfeed. You can't go with every thought you have. You can't trust every intuitive inclination that crops up. You cannot, right? Because if you do, then you'll be caught in a vicious cycle where one thought or one inclination will send you into a series of actions that will create kinds of experiences that will reinforce those thoughts. And if you're not deliberate about it, it can become a vicious cycle. So you got to control that. You got to tame it and direct your intuition in a particular way. Okay? Very, very, very key. This is a huge lesson that I'm giving to you. This is a deep, deep lesson I'm giving to you like that. But don't think because it's free it's not valuable. This is a life-changing lesson. And if you apply it, will have a huge impact, positive impact, on creating the kind of spiritual journey that you know is there for you, that you know that you want. Okay? So your intuition is good, but it must be tamed. How do you tame your intuition? That is where Ifa comes in. That is the true purpose of, that is not the true purpose. Let me say that. But Ifa sets the parameters for guiding and framing up your intuitive inclinations. Okay? Most people don't understand that Ifa represents the law of fate. That's why we call Orunmila Eleri. Okay? This is fate. Ifa is dealing with fate, not destiny. Destiny and fate are two different things. I'm giving you some powerful lessons today. Destiny and fate are not the same thing. Orunmila deals with fate. Fate are limiting factors. These are the things that have to happen and the things that cannot happen in order for you to navigate successfully from where you are to where you are destined to become. Okay? So, Ifa is a framework. And then your intuition, as long as you operate within that framework, you'll be fine. Right? But you got to respect what Ifa says. Do this and don't do that. It's real simple. Ifa is real simple. Okay? But in order for you to know how to respect Ifa and why Ifa is so important, the value of Ifa's message will come in direct proportion to the clarity of your vision. You got to know where you're trying to go. You got to have some sense of direction. And it's got to be clear, 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 clear. Okay, so there's sort of a triangular effect. The clarity of your vision, the strength of your intuition, and the discipline with which you respect the parameters of fate will determine the quality of your spiritual journey. Okay? Now that's all I'm going to